please give a warm welcome to our dear friend, Kurt Rosenwinkel. Thank you for being here, Kurt.
Thank you.
Kurt has been hanging out with us all weekend. We are very grateful to have him here with us. This is year 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, 3.
We've made a good tradition out of this, man.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same without you, and it seems like every year we're able to integrate more of what you're doing into our show here. So that guy does not care about what we're up to over here.
It's like a music store.
That's right. This is our dream, really.
Stairway to heaven.
So we saw a bunch of performances from you this weekend with one of your new groups called Osmosis. Did anybody catch those Osmosis sets? They were unbelievable. They were so excellent. Thank you for bringing that band here.
Pleasure.
I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the genesis of that band, how it came to be, and what that project's like.
Yeah, sure. That's a band that I'm in called Osmosis with Omar Hakim, the legendary drummer, and Lindley Marth on bass. And this weekend we had the amazing Thaddeus Tribbett,
who was incredible, yep,
with us. My man, right there. and Rachel Z. Hakim on the keyboards and piano. And let's see, we've been a band for about 2 years now. And it originated from some jam sessions that I had over at Omar and Rachel's house in New Jersey. And the chemistry was just great. We had so much fun. And so we formed the band and started recording and started doing some touring and stuff. And so now we have an EP out and we're touring around the world and stuff and just getting it going, getting the word out. And when I thought about NAMM, I thought that would be a perfect band for this occasion, because it's so jamming.
Yeah, and it was cool to see people showing up for you and for Omar and for Rachel and just people being really excited about the collaboration. It's a super group, man. I mean, people really do respect each of you for what you're doing uniquely, and then when you get together, it's incredible.
I think it's super.
It's super.
I think
it's a group, and it's super.
It's a super group.
And so one of the things, I actually happened to stop in when you were in New York, and you guys were at Power Station, and you were laying down the basics for that record.
Yeah.
And it was all live takes, each of them in a separate room, and they were just vibing so hard.
Yeah.
And to see what it turned into, it was significantly more groove-oriented than I expected, but it's really through composed. It's really excellent compositions. So how did that come to be a little bit?
Yeah, the compositions are really cool. What I like about the band is that we're not specific to any one typical genre. We play a lot of different ways, so we can go from free improvisation to, just really straight melodies and, beautiful, just, simple compositions, to rocking out really hard. And for all of us, it's all of that stuff is just really natural, I mean, I came from rock and hard rock when I grew up and kind of went into jazz from the top down, so to speak, and so I love to access all that kind of approach in this band, and so we just have tons of fun. And so most of the compositions are written by Omar and Rachel, and a couple songs I've brought to the group, one of which Omar and I had collaborated on, which was really awesome.
And which one is that?
That one was the first one we've been playing this weekend, called Up to Now. Yeah.
So yeah, you can really hear all 4 of these people's influence on this record, and it's an incredible collaboration. Definitely check out that EP. I just listened to it for the first time last night. It's stunning. So congratulations on that record.
Thanks.
But you've been a busy man. That's not all you've been up to. So you also just had a group called Bandit 65 that put out a record that's a little bit more in the avant world.
Yeah.
And a lot of Kurt's signature sound, which you'll hear a little bit of in a second, this kind of cosmic flute-ish, really spatial guitar playing makes like a big appearance on that record. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about how that group came together and how you differentiate that world from what you're up to with Osmosis.
Yeah. So I also have a band called Bandit 65, which is a group. It's a trio that I have with another guitarist called named Tim Motzer from Philadelphia, and a drummer named Gintis Janusonis from New York. And what we do is we just start from nothing. We have no plan. Everything is completely 100% free, improvised.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
From start to finish, yeah. And we just go out there on concert stages with nothing pre-planned at all.
And so is the record just a group of improvisations?
Yeah, it is. It's all completely 100% improvised. And so it's really beautiful because it starts out, normally what we do is we kind of somebody just starts and there's an element, and Tim is an amazing soundsmith, and there's a lot of textural landscapes and sonic pictures. He's like a lot of painting going on, and the drummer uses a lot of electronics as well. So we kind of create this world, and then songs kind of just sort of evolve naturally out of that. And we're like three monks like meditating upon like the same thing. Nice. And so much so that we don't even really hear what the actual thing is until after the concert, when we go back to the hotel and we listen to what happened, because we were both, everybody is all so completely in it and making a million micro decisions at every second that we're kind of the last people to hear the finished product, and it's a really incredible experience, and the chemistry of the band is such that's totally normal for us,
Right.
And I don't feel nervous to go out on to play in the Elb Philharmonic Hall with, sold out 2,000 people in a concert hall, and 5 minutes before the show we're backstage and we realize we've never practiced anything. We don't have any songs. That
is an unbelievable amount of blind trust that I find horrifying.
But it's like, I know that music just, it's a beautiful thing about music and the chemistry where music itself just kind of flowers, and all you have to do is meditate upon what it asks for, what it needs, like curating a garden or something like that.
And as you describe that, I actually, like, kind of retrospectively, you can hear that in the record. This Bandit 65 record is incredible. It's called Searching the Continuum, right?
Yeah, Searching the Continuum is the name of the album, yeah.
And it starts out with this track that is this nebulous, beautiful cloud of it's a sonic landscape, and it's kind of, static for a while, and then it all congeals together and the record kind of begins, out of that cloud. So now that you're saying that process makes a lot of sense. That's fascinating. So definitely check out that record as well. Before we get into Kaipi Band stuff, which you've got going on in the summer, I was wondering if you could take us through. You have such a signature sound. It is arrestingly beautiful, and it's complex, as you can see from this rat's nest
king rat
of it. Yeah, this is a king rat of technology down here. We kind of wheel it out like this pile of brains that we try to desperately keep together.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about, and might need to keep it short because I don't know the history of this contraption, but a little bit about how your signature sound came together, and then maybe you could walk us through some of your favorite sounds.
I think when I die, I'm going to have my brain downloaded into that.
That's genius, man. I think everyone will appreciate that.
So basically, this is the basic sound I have.
It's not basic, but it sounds real good.
Yeah. And then if I want, I can use. That's like a little freeze action with the hog there.
Right, that's that infinite sustain glissando thing.
Yeah, so you can just play a chord.
Give it up, please. These sounds are just...
Thanks.
I feel like everyone wants to clap, but they also just are horrified and they want to hear more. Like, I better not make a sound. And so are you triggering that by using that expression pedal, but actually like going off? You're triggering it off when you want a new chord in there?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so, you just play the chord and then it feeds the thing and then you have it on the foot and then you can cut the volume.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. And it's wild how responsive it is, I mean, obviously it's that infinite sustain thing, so they overlap, but it's really responsive with that expression.
It's a beautiful
pedal.
thing. I've always wanted to, I think most guitarists, especially ones who play piano, and piano for me is my mother instrument. I love piano. And, the sustain pedal is just such a wonderful, beautiful sound and tool. And, so being a guitarist, we only have 6 strings and, one hand. So, the kind of textures harmonically that we can get are kind of limited. And that feeds in invention. Necessity is the mother of invention, and Jim Hall is a great example of somebody who really was able to really get the incredibly complex harmony with very, very few note choices. But if you want that kind of tertial harmony where one chord is stacked upon another one, then as a guitarist, we've always kind of wished for a sustain pedal, and so when this came along, I was really psyched about that because that kind of gives you that ability.
And speaking of that harmonic richness, you're not just hearing the 6 notes that even if you're playing a 6-string chord, you're not just hearing those 6 notes because these pedals, the pog and the hog and anything else that rhymes with those 2 words, is also an octave.
Dog.
Right. Thank you.
The dog pedal.
Cog. There are all sorts, really. But these are also octave generators. And so you're hearing in certain tones that Kurt's dialing in, you're hearing 1 octave above the note he's selecting, occasionally 2 octaves above, occasionally 1 octave below, 2 below that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you could illustrate that harmonic gooiness by playing some of that stuff you play also like back near the bridge where the guitar is really ringing out and giving you all that harmonic kind of gleaming stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Like, when you do that thing where you go back near the bridge, like really near the bridge, and you're playing that quick pick and stuff where it gets a little... Yeah, and occasionally you'll give me one of these. You'll give me like all that stuff. And you can hear how glassy the instrument gets. get all kinds of extra harmonic information above the pickups as well if they're placed in the right spot because they're at natural harmonic points on the string.
Word.
Word. That's the Cosmos looking out for us. By the way, I should mention the instrument that Curt is playing is our new Deluxe Brighton. This is a limited edition model that is found in the Deluxe series. There's only 50 of these made per finish worldwide, and Curt has never played this instrument before. He and I are working on a couple of variations of this guitar, but I was like, hey, you want to play something new? And of course, he's down for a challenge, so you're hearing him experimenting with it for the first time as well.
It's an easy proposition, man, because it just feels great.
Sound like with some overdrive too.
With overdrive, yeah, it's like this.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to keep listening, man. It's honestly such an honor.
Keep playing.
How are we doing for time? Does anybody know? What time is it? It's not midnight. Incredible. We're doing great. All right, so before we do a little bit more playing, I want to ask you about Kaipi Band.
Yeah.
A few years ago, you launched a record label called Hardcore.
Yeah, Hardcore Records.
Hardcore Records, and you guys have been doing fantastic. The work that's been put out on that has been very special. And of course, Kaipi Band, your personal project, is that's an unbelievable record. I love that so much. You have some stuff coming up in the future. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that band's going on?
So my band, Kaipi Band, is one of my beloved bands. It's with some wonderful musicians from Brazil, and it's a project of mine, of my original music that has been developing for a long time, kind of in parallel with everything else, and it's called Caipi, which is kind of short for caipirinha, the Brazilian drink, which is an awesome drink. You should try it. You should all try it. And
bar opens at 4.
And so when I started my record label, Hardcore Records, we put Kaipi out, and I think that was in 2016, 2017, something like that. And I think 2016, yeah. And let's see. And Eric Clapton helped me to establish the label, and he was very supportive of me. I played in his Crossroads Festival in 2013, and we've been friends for a while, since 2011, when he came to the Village Vanguard to hear my band, and so. We also just played, so we put the album out, Kaipi, and I put a band together to tour that music, and this band is called Kaipi Band, and it's a wonderful group, and we've been touring around the world since then, and just recently, this past fall, we played at Clapton's Crossroads Festival, again, 2019 Crossroads Festival in Dallas, Texas, and it was wonderful. And it was great because it was kind of a culmination, because Eric has been supporting me since before the album came out, and then to go to the Clapton Crossroads Festival with Kaipi Band and perform there was wonderful, and it was just a really cool thing. And so he's asked us to open for him in June on his tour in Europe. So the Kaipi Band will be also playing, opening up for Clapton on his tour this June. And we also have some concerts in the United States. We're playing at Carnegie Hall on March 21st, and then we're coming here to LA at the Moss Theater on March 22nd. And I hope you all, if you're in town, can hang with us there at the Moss Theater. That's part of the Jazz Bakery series with Ruth Price's jam. And we're also playing at Yoshi's in Oakland, San Francisco on the 25th. And we're going to be also in Phoenix and in Denver, Colorado. So I hope you can catch us there.
You know, most people don't have their tour schedule memorized. That was impressive.
Yeah, it's 2020 is really clear.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, listen, the only negative thing about Curt and Clapton touring together is the world is going to explode right after they play. No one will know what that will be like, but man, I hope I get to catch one of those shows. The majority of those are in Europe.
Yeah, those are in Europe.
Yeah. So European listeners, please check out those shows. They're going to be unbelievable. This is going out to the whole world right now.
Oh,
by
yeah.
the way.
Yes, we will see you
if
there.
If they're not asleep, they'll see you there right now.
Yeah.
All right, so before we wrap this up, usually when you and I hang out, I ask you if you're working on anything new, anything that you're just experimenting with on the guitar. Sometimes you give me a preview. You always teach me something new.
Oh, geez.
One time you played an unreleased track that we made a video out of.
Right.
And that was unbelievable. So not to put you on the spot, but while you're here and while you're set up,
you're going to put me on the spot.
Got anything you want to show the people?
Oh, dude.
No is also okay.
Well, I'm working on a lot of projects at the moment. I'm actually in the middle of, in various stages on working on about 6 albums of mine as a leader, as an artist. And a few other projects of other artists as well. So it's definitely a very. I feel very fortunate to have the energy and the time and the ability to be working on a lot of cool things coming up. And
and that's
really,
where the energy and heart are going right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, the releases have been fantastic this year. I'm personally very grateful for them. Please go check them out. I can't wait to see the new work that you got coming up. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I should mention really briefly, because I know some of you are curious about this gear. This is a Mastermind controller.
Yeah, RGM Music Technology. Love that company. The Mastermind GT. Those are really amazing MIDI controllers that are programmable, and you can put your own words in there to tell you what it is. Totally customizable. And I'm going into a Axe FX 3 by Fractal Audio, which is another gear thing that I just absolutely love. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful sound. It's really customizable, and I love it. It's beautiful. And up top are some pedals by Electro Harmonics also, which I really love. And the Boss Super Octave OC3, which is the only bass pedal that gives you bass only in the range that you want it. So, like in my sound, it's only octavating about up to there.
And then it drops off.
And then it drops off.
That's cool. So Thaddeus, you're no longer needed. Sorry about that. Thanks. You've been doing great. Awesome. And then I should mention that this is all coming out. There's no amp up here. This is just coming out through these Martin speakers and monitors. Martin Audio hooked it up this year, as you can see behind us from this gargantuan system.
Yeah,
these Martin Audio stuff. Give it up for Martin, please.
Woo! Yeah.
Those guys hooked it up big. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, really happy with the sound here.
I want to talk to you all day, and I want to hear you play all day, but we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to play us out for a bit, just a little something for the people, thanks again. This is the Deluxe Brighton. This is Kurt Rosenwinkel. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Man.
Thank you, everybody. More music coming up soon.